back if your ancestors were forced to come to the U.S. not by choice. Please take one step forward if your primary ethnic identity is American. All women, leave. All people of color, stay. Take one step back if you were ever called names because of your race, your class, your gender, or your sexual orientation. All non-heterosexual people, please leave. Christians and Christians only, please, on the stage. All scholars, please come to the front. Take one step forward if one or both of your parents has a college degree. Please take one step back if you went to school speaking a language other than English. All artists, leave. Your funding has been cut. All students, stay. Please take one step back if you ever had to skip a meal or were hungry because there was not enough money to buy food when you were growing up. Please step back if you had to move because you couldn't afford the rent. Step back if you were discouraged from something because of your race, your class, your gender, or your sexual orientation. All people from colonized countries, please leave. All Americans, please stay.
Stop! Fall back!
I'm very, very black right now.
I never felt this black before.
I'm loud. That mine's a sound.
Visible
Well,
in the
I'm
eyes.
loud.
Brown
I'm
in the eyes.
When did the skin become muck? Mama told me that I was made from the shadows of great men. Told me that I was made from the sky and everything it might hold. Told me I was everything, and they said that I'm just black. An ink blot. A blackhead on the colorless face of this campus. Told me that I got here because of white guilt and call themselves progressive. I am a congregation of kinfolks that goes hush in my blood every day. My history told me I could leave if I refused to love it like I should, but how can I? I'm black for the first real time, and I don't remember what my hood smells like.
Llegamos a una tierra desconocida, con esperanza en las manos. Sufrimos por un sueño americano. We came here to dream, like our parents told us to, and prayed for better lives before sleep. But esperanza got lost in translation. We must have dropped it before leaving everything behind.
My black snaps back with a rubber band sting. Honey is being protected here, but we are no flowers. I did not suck the pollen from this place, did not dandelion its roots to be here. There is enough sun for all of us.
They taught me how to be black and proud, but not how to stay that way. I said, let me tell you about my culture, about my people, how the sun goes down behind the school that I ditched from, held out my culture on a platter of arms. They said, what's your ACT score? How much money does your dad make, if you even have one? I got skin, bursting at the seams with a story that nobody sees as more than a quota.
Our tongues no longer move against the roof of our mouths like the dances we learned as children. Rather, they follow, learn to turn in our seasoned food and sweet 15 for a major and class schedules. How quick we were to leave everything behind.
Why be thornish with my bloom when I was never given soil in the first place? Should I stand wilted, my stem easier to bend, with my petals snipped in all the right places, like tongues forced into the shape of a conqueror's syllable? Tell me who to be. I have been cut to forget everything but you.
We
are selling the tongues our ancestors died with. We cannot be now.
We cannot be now. We cannot be now.
If we do not know who we were then.
So we
shut up the culture into revival.
Grandmother, I heard her voice today. It was as loud as my hair in a room full of white women. As intentional and soft as my speech in some big lecture hall with 300 bodies whose skins once hung our skins. That Mississippi sang suicide notes and dances cargo. In Plaquemine, Louisiana, a mulatto, a passing queen, is caught between the switch and sweat of masters' penis, caught between the noose and the privilege married my mom, man, I know I'd have been changed.
White God to pin his body to the sun.
Surrounding the skin that made me subservient. And I want to send it back to God's defect factory. I'm a marionette to white folk, but grandma, I want them to love me with no strings attached. Peel this forehead back. Rip open this neck. Touch these fingertips, because I swear, I was made in his image. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed.
Yeah, Lord!
I know I've been changed. Angels in heaven sign my name.
My great-grandmother was a sharecropper. The South sweats in her sheets. The mirrors need to be changed. They know how to smile back, asking her cancer to scream more, ain't it, Belle?
Her children call her May.
Now, May. Ever say old say I may like it. See, post-slaves know hot liquor, bread pudding, pig intestine, pig spine, pig foot, pig tongue. It's no wonder we choke on its Latin. My family speaks a tongue I never grew. Necking a pecan tree in the backyard, making noise. Like Bernice's boys at the church. Roosevelt said I smell like peppermint. I told the boy to take his pretty stuff home, and he kept listening at me like a train coming up from New York, and we was about to miss that sweet smell of burning cotton when the engine ride a little too close to the field. Charlie loved me with teeth in his heart. It ain't way earthquake where I make it saying that he's the clear old spray. We had an episode the other day. The sun has a way of making the nigga shake in his cotton. What's wrong with him?
The sun like to touch sometimes.
He shakes so hard.
Dear white grandmother, who I know can relate to the straightness of my hair, I want to know, no matter if I switch the way I behave, would I have been a slave? Was my skin tone just over the cutoff limit, but changed to showcase my worthlessness? For my ethnic crime, in which I was half guilty, did the judge sentence me to forced slavery? Or would my whippings lose half their intensity? Was I privileged enough to have white dreams? Were my shackles half as tight, slave that day, free at night? Tell me, white grandmother, would I have been a slave? Dear black grandma, did you know that I went to a black-dominated middle school where there were only 2 white kids, and one of them was me? I know that you can see my blackness in a room full of black people, but did you know that I sat balled up in a room of racial slurs? Did you know that I didn't think I was black?
It's because you ain't black, white, boy.
Hey, yo, you say that again, I'm gonna beat the color off you.
Why you clothes so baggy? Go get your own culture, Wiggin.
White boy.
White boy?
White boy?
Yo, your people don't rule the world no more, aight? Abuela, there's days I wish to be more like you. Gathered with family a few weeks ago. Working folks as separated as the distance of mother feels through immigration. Abuela and me. Spanish a little rusty, barely had the power to backflip my language.
In college, expects me to switch my English to English.
She asked how school was. I wanted to say good, but my eyes spoke the entrapment caught between voices, gasping for Mexicano accents as they sold me on a new tongue, regurgitating a dictionary I'm not fond of, shoelace identity. Abuela, their souls use our roots for a doormat. They rub us off. Merely ancient dirt in history classes. She asked if it's hard. I wanted to say how I throw this gliding on the cut of a double-edged sword. Words 7 in Spanish. Can't manage to switch street dialects to proper grammatics that I gotta work in, trying to work in that jargon and seeking a new job, wondering, Abuela, how we've worked to silence our discomfort. ¿Por qué, Abuela? We never learned their English. How did you work then? She asked me if I had a job, mine losing control of when to switch the culture on and off. Broken Spanish couldn't respond to her, broken English can't respond to them. Silence, no response.
Please have a seat.
Hello, it is a pleasure to meet each of you.
Likewise, let's get this over.
Can you work with computers?
Yes, it is on the skills section in my resume.
You're, different. So tell us about yourself.
I switched the way I
So
behave.
what are you? Native American? Mexican?
I switched the way I behave.
English is your first language, correct?
comfortable with the custodian position?
I switched the way I behave. I switched the way I behave. I switched the way I behave. I switched the way I behave.
We are selling the tongues our ancestors
We are selling the tongues
We
our
are selling the
ancestors
tongues
died
our
with.
ancestors
died with. When did the skin become muck?
I'm very, very black right now.
Well, I never felt this black before.
Brown in my eyes means black in their eyes.
I done traded my pride for scholarship.
Invisible in their eyes, uncomfortable as seen.
Take off skin, zipper unhinged. We
Are selling the tongues our ancestors died with.
So we
We cannot be now if we don't know who we were then. So we
shut up.
culture. It's a revival.
You thought that this would be forever, that mother would grow old here, that this room would turn into a storage space and the pictures you took just a year ago would then be bedded with dust. You thought that this would be forever, but time doesn't exist like that. You exist for it, a concept only the foolish dare to question. Eviction. A chill on the back of your spine, a thought you can't get rid of, no matter how many times you try to shake off in the bed that soon will be given to someone else. None of this is no longer yours. None of this is no longer yours. Let go of it all. The walls you once daydreamed on will soon have pictures of another family willing to find comfort here. There are boxes everywhere, empty and ready to be filled. Put your memories away. Place your mother's smile here, of coconut milk and imperfection. Place it next to the pillows that you trusted enough to dream on. Don't forget the seasonings of childhood and loose teeth. They made Saturday mornings ritual. Pack the love letters. Place each word in every corner. Don't remember the lovers. Remember the love. It's easier that way. Because home is no longer home now. You don't understand how God works in these ways. You just understand that God works. You just know that all you have are these boxes, empty and ready to be filled. The violin doesn't fit in that box. Forget the violin. Pack your sister's voice instead. She is part of your orchestra, a never-ending euphony of birds at play. But there are no boxes left. All are ready to be sealed and taken to a place you've never been. You realize you can't fit an entire life no matter how many times you push. You carry yourself instead and leave the rest behind.
Books as old as tattered school buildings.
No wonder urban futures are like pages with nothing filled in.
Desk. I like skies with an installed ceiling.
Teacher numbs brain with chalk cloud, no feeling.
Because Cartiat used to do her nails in class.
calling her Miss Crack, handed out textbooks without the backs, and let the students leave the room after pledging the flag. Miss Crackyatt used to do her nails in class, and she would punish a student for calling her Miss Crack, handed out textbooks without the backs, and let the students leave the room after pledging the flag. 1,
4.
2,
7.
2,
14.
3.
To the 5. Public school done ruined my life. I can't count, y'all. I can't read, y'all. I'll be a leader and teach the kids smoke weed, y'all.
I refuse to be ignorant in your presence. I know the crashing of a system has its victims, and I know bodies in desk does not guarantee an education. So when the teacher wasn't looking, I took off my skin and read it.
Little boxes in the city, little boxes. It's way back up your throat, as if the house you learned to cry in was the exhale of a hurricane. The stoop where you shared your first kiss still has the spit of its gravel between your thighs. No wonder you don't want to wash yourself. The water here tastes heavier than the clouds that line the inside of your mouth, that lift the dreams onto the backs of your eyelids. You still got home when you don't eat. Still got stories with those scarred knees. Still got your brother's dead skin in the creases of your hands. The cotton from grandma's Sunday dress and the backdoor kinks of your hair. The gospel in your spine. The corner store rhythm in your heels. The crisp of fried food and the twitch of your jawline. The ugly of your best friend's laugh and the beauty of your ribcage. You tell yourself that this is all worth letting go. That like all things, this version of you shall pass too. It's about time you let your lungs swell with new breeze. Let new earth form islands between your toes. Maybe the sun shines brighter here. Maybe the moon hugs these waters closer to its chest. Maybe the next you will be the you your mother imagined you to be, as you ripened in her belly, like fruit with promise of everything sweet. But don't forget to scrape the valley between your taste buds. The flavor of your speech doesn't mix with this storm. Little boxes in the city, little boxes made of tickets, little boxes in the city, little boxes all the same. There's a brown one, a great one, and a red one, and a white one, and they were all made out of chicken tacky, and they all look just the same. And the children in that housing, well, the system made the prison bound, well, they were all made out of chicken tacky, and they all look just the same. And there's pushers, and there's gangsters, who all try to figure families, and they were all put in boxes, and they all came out just the same. Aim, 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 aim.
Mama did best to put me in best school. I could say a, veces in Spanish, but rules were rules. Tested in English, I filled in placement bubbles randomly. I was considered foolish. Got stuck as a 37th student in the class of a child-starving school. It seems to me this phase was the first tool they used. Setting produces results, so all through elementary, trouble seemed as cool as cuss words I learned from neighbors because, well, ESL wasn't a class my school had money to have. Maybe my skin or a stamp labeled immigrant caused you to strategically leave me prey to a community preying on itself. No help through elementary when I needed a tutor or counselor, instead maneuvers of corporate hands. Otherwise the man left me to stand where I didn't want to be. Black GDs versus Latin kings with all I see, but I was smarter. I thought Race gangs were stupid because I like black girls. Ruthless rebellion was the only choice I had because when I got to middle school, either gang would beat my ass. I would have loved to do math if I didn't have to focus on threat notes when bells rang. I walked around with shanks because there was no after-school activities. I sailed my own ship, bombarded with enemy pirates. The one fight led me to lonely walk the plank. I cut the face of a flake. Sealed letter addressed the beginning of inmate. You knew it would come true. Prophecy of me to be a screw-up had no luck. I was ranked from percentile of hood children that constantly walk green miles. Audio homes are inaudible for my problems, but automatically assume me to return later. For automatic weapons, a drug use, another number filed, another fingerprint put down in the computer. The exiles of soul generalized me part of the whole that would drop out. Same as before. Records allowed me to enter no high school seeking pleasure to push me through the cracks instead. You cracked me in 3 places. Fractured legs that build this kid. Torso with wounded ribs through middle school and now through a rendered fragmented education. My brain only knows ways of foes I didn't want to be. Father and mother can't pay our bills with factory salary. Could barely eat. Our bellies eat themselves. I'm hungry. Now, a ghetto scholar, a copper connector teaches me to sell weed, and in little time, I'm booked again. Process so familiar like 5th grade suspensions. I do my bid. Just like you contemplated, it's factual that you were part of my dropout process. You planned this life before I stood and read books. I now only read facts like people with felonies can't get minimum wage jobs because of stuff like deep fryers being a weapon accessory. Weed moves slow, so I got blowing heroin. I couldn't pretend that these drugs wasn't going to support my household. Grew into a position that I'm now in, looking at the similarities of school life compared to being in pen, like the fact that single file lines are equal to a place that makes you wear the blue and white plain colors of a system to set you aside for the climbing rate and destination of what put behind these bars. I now work for corporate companies that command us to make Victoria's Secret panties, Radisson hotel linens, and Bayer pills for 75 cents an hour. It's all a plan to make you a number in the state prison commerce. Don't be me. This is a PSA for the hustlers on the block. And anything that involves filthy money, they're as hungry as you are. Warning.
In June 2011, I decided to go out for a quick, quiet walk at night to see some friends. Nothing big, just a reason to swing in the summer.
No shade.
I left my apartment. I walked by a house. I saw a few people walking by and looking up at something, so naturally, I looked too.
Oh, the people,
A doll.
the people.
A life-sized black doll, its feet bound,
No shade.
dressed in underwear,
No shade.
stripped, hanging by its neck from the second-story balcony.
We ride around with magic crowns that mute the sound of heads banging ground. Oh, the people. 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 What makes us love ourselves, even after we have done such horrible things?
Is it the callus on our hands, not remembering the stain of last night's mishap, the blood too thick and real to rub off?
At funerals, the people are so quiet. And the preacher man will use words like hope and peace to make God seem less harsh in his hiding place.
I imagine God sucking his thumb and throwing tantrums when things like this happen. When creation starts to make a mess of his writings.
The coroners will be here in the morning. Funny, they get here before God. A bruised eye mustn't go uniced, or the body won't look pretty in the casket.
My culture is a masterpiece, stricken by the oil of human hands, a dismantled flower under the butt of some schoolboy picking petals and chanting, "Do you love me or not?" My culture always does. There must be some sort of magic in his skin that allows him to forgive.
My culture was hanged on some balcony, and no one bothered to take him down from me, to wipe him of the shame. The man who did this said it was an accident.
That they were only trying to scare him.
That the plan was to let him go. That history's stench had been far gone. That skin had nothing to do with this.
It's career. My mom stands behind Rachel's father with a book she can't read. His pink skin against the blackboard is lightning and apple. I repent to him. When her eyes meet mine, she tucks her lip into her jaw. She can't cry every time I notice our superiors, with their straight shoulders and hair that won't stop falling. Today, I learned to hold my skin against her. She did this. She gave us to the ghettos of sand-colored bodies with overfed illusions of grandeur when I was 14. She cried into my math book over problem 37. It was a trick question. My lab partner Jacob told me she was stupid, and it was true. Your father could have been white, she said. Dave. Your father was Dave. Your eyes were green, your brown didn't black, and our family was Jewish. I believed her. I believed he wanted a better life for me. But when black women loved the war of love, they lay into trenches with their backs out. She must have held her body like a petri dish until something grew. And I came like whiplash before the brake light. All of my lessons. Don't stare or be stared at. Don't speak to them. Smile kindly. Eat when you can, but you are always full. I blushed and bruised as hard as I could. My high school was a block wide and a rifle deep. Our textbooks waved at themselves from the binds and tore. I bowed at my desk and pledged to the Americas, to the holy compass of Columbus and his predecessors. Straightened my hair to singed patches of blue grass and forgot what I was. Forgot the sage burning in my window, my mother's greasy hands, the smell of hot chicken in the car. I left home for the lightning. Chased it upriver to the promised land, to the university, where the pure soaked their skin in salt. I was saved. The students' bodies glowed. They touched and accepted the goblin in my hair. They taught me my history, my curse. So I fell in love with the notion of betterment, a chance to be David's child. I wrote my mother often. I used words I knew she didn't know. I imagined her trying to read them, pitiful, holding out her tongue for too long and then quitting. We wouldn't speak much when I came home. I had evolved. And one day, when I'd go to the store, we wouldn't be together for the stray bullet. She wouldn't be there to see the blood or how bruised and blue I could be. She would take her time to identify me, to notice me. She would know how hard I worked for us.
The illusion of truth. I knew a fool that thought he mastered it. I induced my own delusion that he could manage to be accurate, commanding my audacity to ask what would come after this but grasp, since when the atom split, that no matter is immaculate. The practice of semantics lacks an adequate canvas I can't yet manage to fathom or, in fact, understand it. But if the essence of the truth could hide inside a dream, is this insomniac as far away from truth as it seems? Because it seems that as of late, There's change my brain is engaged in, and the language of pain is not framed in verbal exchanges. I'm under surveillance. I've been a slave to the ways of their data and notations. They've indoctrinated hatred, caves that made me complacent. But the truth renews the seed, and he speaks a need to be heard. So I trace the path of its creation on this easel of dirt. As time advanced her passage, I see what I need to rework, pay heed to the dirt, because unlike the seed, we only seem to reverse. I keep the seed in reach of mine as I proceed to rehearse. The truth is palpable. I perceive her as a seed and rebirth, but if a coffin is of wood, and from the sap in a tree, the life inside a rotting body transfers back to the seed. Concerning truth, you've only heard it from the words that we know. Who could discern it from the dirt when it returns to the soul? I would have told you all of this, but change cannot be painted, and my name is just a label for a soul under surveillance.
Tomorrow, women are the dirt caught inside of lockets. The only sin that leaves a ring around my tub. I've never loved a woman.
She said she never loved me.
She has eyes, nothing of my mother. Holds my hand in the absence of a man. She calls me beautiful and wants to be held by me in the scaling of night and whisper, I want to be whole again. Because women have to have more passion than men.
She walks in shoulders first. Plucking the carpet off of her smile every night, she whispered, come, like a horse I do. She hooks at the night and caramelized regret.
She has hair of tumbleweed, vestigial angel wings and cheekbones that sit on Saturn's rings in my hand. Will explore her breast in the most ignorant way, like I've never felt the soft of a woman.
I see where she hides my things. Among the rubbish of bone and diamond, she calls when I fall asleep. They tell me she cut the bravery from their cheeks, that her chest is casket in a desert of her breast would never nurse the child my naivety calls love.
She smells of chai, and in the brink of summer,
That of winter.
wears dresses that flow like buds of dandelion in spring. She did not meet my mother.
My mother hates her.
She did not meet my father.
Father named his shotgun after her.
She would never meet my God.
Even demons know Jesus.
Demons know sheep. Demons know the skin of she wrapped around my face, and I am as confused as ocean to moon. She will be a question, awaiting answer in the presence of time. I will learn how to decipher the sacrilege, dementing a rose's breath, and she will learn that I was never ready for her. She will learn how to eat with no teeth and how to move with no sun.
What about the moon that hung crooked in the sky on the night you asked me to take you?
I am not my own to give, therefore not yours. I want to be whole again. Try not to remember how your voice used to collapse in my way.
Perfumed or not, your skin is clean because of me.
Don't tell me about my skin. My skin is clean because of God.
But I love
and
you.
I love him, and a man should not lie with a man in the same way he does a woman. For it is an abomination and a detestable act against God. His image, his image.
Human intuition was gifted.
God called for me with a relentless hand. He worked peace into the grit of my spine. Harnessed in my womb like a dead fetus, I've miscarried this sin for too long.
Father, I ain't no abomination. How could you give birth to a child and hate them for having brown eyes and a taste for something far less familiar?
I taste like 3-day-old cross. Wow. Beckon me from Jerusalem. They tell me I've been braiding fences in my sleep to protect my image.
By night, I've known a woman's body to be holy. I've gone to her altar, drank her communion, and swore her nectar to be holy. I still pray to God in the morning. Found scriptures, scribbled on her back. His image.
He took me in his arms, told me, I've been running from home since the day I found my
That
shadow.
was a spiral creation. Angels follow me. Still, I throw these hands. Still, I remember the lines on her neck. Still.
I asked for this. The blood lash redemption, the teeth and conviction, this body is a whole half God, praying.
To the shifts in her spine, still, is love a birth defect. They may call us demons still to get passion etched out of our smiles, but I ain't never burned no roses. I ain't never cursed no God. I ain't never committed redundant sacrilege.
He whispered in my sleep, saying, you can't run from me.
You can't run from me. Memories of we will crawl up your skin like water bugs and blood.
Baby, you will understand. I found a man with diamonds in his hand.
You want me to stay? What about tomorrow? You want me today? What about tomorrow? What about tomorrow?
You have been wearing yourself broken ever since you discovered that there was someone breaking you. There are cavities in the sweet tooth of your spine, but how can you know this if you've never used your back to stand tall? There are nails in the heels of your feet, cracking your bones into parted seas, but how can you know this if you've spent your entire life drowning your needs? The problem with those who are broken is that they don't know they can mend themselves. Even if it takes a little breaking down to do it, we are all shattered in some way. Why do you think the ocean comes running towards us, begging to wash the apology off our skin? Asking to mend the sores in our tongues from biting them for so long. Take that hook out of your mouth. The only line you should be attached to is in the rising of your bones.
Hope this bus comes soon or else, we're gonna be late to class.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely.
It's always late and it's bad, it's hot as it's been out here, right? So where you headed to? I want him.
I know he wants me.
I want him to want me.
Look at him.
I need him.
He makes me itch.
Doesn't he know that doesn't he hear the God in him wailing in his valiant skin for the God in me? Doesn't he know that a body needs a body to know that it's real? I need him.
He wants me.
Like Abel needed Cain to stand behind him with the palm in his back, brother. Can you stand behind me without daggers in your hands? Have you looked outside the window? Here, we are bound to each other to survive. My only wish is to love you.
You're supposed to love me. Like I can push the weight of society off your back. You don't know the color of brotherhood. You see pink in a world we're seeing blue or earn respect.
Do you think that slaves judge the feet catching fire next to them running towards freedom? Or that king judged the boys with dog teeth deep in their calves for loving the boys soaked in water? You walk past me on this campus like there's nothing miracle about both of us being here. Who are you to deny us?
You're supposed to want me Cause you know I'm gonna catch your feminine arms are too weak to pull in.
Malcolm.
Trace that colorful language back into your voice box. You can't have me, dude. I can't even call you a dude. You smell of sunshine and soap operas and afternoon gardening. See, I'm a real man. I know the unwritten rules of society. My father taught me to hide my eyes from the eyes of people like you.
Your father would be shamed if he knew you saw family and didn't speak.
My father would be shamed if he knew I knew you.
But I love you.
Back the fuck up.
When I say I love you, don't confuse the pink of my throat as an invitation to my bedroom. I say I love you because I love myself. Who am I if I am not you? This world can treat us both like unwanted soot, and now you're calling me dirt too?
I'm calling you a sinner.
Oh, so first the pot caused the kettle black, and now pride caused lust to sin. Have you ever read my heart?
I was raised to call you sin.
I was raised to call you brother. God, you told me they would come for me. You never told me we looked so much alike. You're not even my type. Well, I can have you faster than you can slip them little dress pants off, but I wish to swallow no part of you. My only wish is to have communion, find something holy together here.
We can never have anything holy together. We're not the same thing.
What? We're not the same thing. I'm a black boy in Madison, a dangerous thing. Wake up every day and don't know whether to study or explode. I am Mandingo, Thug, Obama, MJ, and MJ. I am Houston, small man in the back, whatever. I know this. I know that September smells like a gel,
But I pay my tuition.
made of gunmetal and this. Every step is a fight. Everybody I slept with knows they made love to a war zone.
I am a scream rather than a coconut shell.
I'm beautiful.
Home to me is a woman greasing my scalp.
It's the song of a black boy making microphone to the back of my neck. Their hands coax me to sing too.
Have you ever heard a black man hum in a whitewashed city? If you have, then you know God exists.
How lips vibrate like the street underneath the feet of a march. I'm a movement. When I dap up my boys, there isn't I love you or we're still alive, a miracle between fists. You're supposed to love me. And I do. Just not like that. Normal people don't accept normal people.
I'm loud.
Normal people don't accept normal people.
I'm loud. I'm loud. They're my
Normal people don't accept normal people. Normal people don't accept normal people. Normal people don't accept normal people.
I'm very, very black right now.
Mama told me that I was made from the shadows of great men. Told me that I was everything.
They said, I'm just black. Llegamos a una tierra desconocida, con esperanza en las manos. Sufrimos por un sueño americano.
But el sueño, it got lost in translation.
They taught
Taught
me.
me how to be black and proud, not how to say that.
I said, let me tell you about my people, about my family. They said, what's your SAT score?
They said, how much money does your dad make?
They asked, do you have one?
Our tongues no longer move against the roof of our mouths like the dances we learned as children.
How quick we were to drop everything to be the ones who escaped. Like tongues forced into the shape of a conquered syllable, tell me who to be. I've been cut to forget everything but you. Fall back.
For 5 years, I barely saw myself in the front of a class. Yeah, teachers mean well, but they don't sound like home. So, I took off my skin today. Hung it on a rack. Told it to teach you. Lesson 1. I'm still black. Even when I am skinless, or in a dark room, or when I'm ashy, or when somebody tells me I have the master's tongue now.
Fall back.
Dear Uncle Tom, there is something that infects my speech.
Fall off your own rhythm.
I think it's called pride.
Fall off everything that beat before this. You are nothing but a branch, leafless, whipped, beaten off the trunk you call home.
I know the diamonds created in the hollows of my throat will not be cradled by the minds in the room. They will not know its worth, but I will speak anyway. Speculators didn't expect something so inanimate to move on behalf of itself. I will not be overlooked here.
Lesson 2. Even if I have the master's tongue, I am not the master. No, I am not the master. I am the master of myself.
Fall off your own rhythm.
I'd be light skinned for like a day. I'd be cute inside, baby hair all in my eyebrows, just laying down like an amputated. I'd be white for a day. Biannual trip to Africa white. Wear a dashiki to the country club white. Shoot, I be getting houses on bad credit, appraising jewelry, buying name brand dish detergent, having dish fries in front of Sainsbury's. What? I mean, we've been crashing into matriculation just to pay for ourselves history, but ain't nobody watching. Don't nobody care? Progression is just movement in the way that you break, so if you know this coffee, you know the absence of self in a world full of technicolor milk and foreign exchange, this skin is nothing but the fall of God. We ask for permission to ourselves over packs of Pampers and federal aid, so hell yeah, I'd be white. High-fiving Paul McCartney white. But what is NASA to himself but drywall in the mirror? What is privilege to minstrelsy? I will never be a BET rerun, a stock vehicle at 2 a.m. You see, blacks don't actually want the midnight they wrapped in, so yeah, I'd be white. For God's sakes, this is America.
Yes, this skin is heavy enough to make the average man crumble, but there is nothing average about you.
Fall back!
I am the skin. I will use my hair as a mask so that if I shall return, I'll bring something as contagious as a plague. An educated black thing with a cough that affects every generation hereafter.
Lesson 3, trust this skin. You might forget it's there. Might even want to rip it from your bones, but don't you know that there is nothing mistake about you?
Fall off everything that be before this.
I know it's still there. I feel it. Colonizers convinced us for centuries we were ugly. I don't believe lies that intend to delete me. Correct your lesson. Send this prayer to the Christ you forced in me. Tell him to rewind ships. Trickle disease back into their pale arms, please. Revive my ancestral pulse. Teach me before this mestizo skin started.
At the hair salon, a Guatemalan woman compliments my eyes and tells me that the people of my region were degraded of their womanhood. Conquistadors came in to take whatever they could find, found the beauty of dark skin and eyes, and took that too. I am centuries of submission, silence, and unanswered prayers now. I stride the streets of Madison as if everyone looks at me, but in reality, no one does. I am a snowflake. I'm only different if you look up close.
At least the sun burns bright in Madison most mornings. Remind my skin it still breathes. My eyes fall shut like my customs to their conformity, but when I sleep, la cultura minima that I still possess, reconstructs skeletons, continues respiration, and I sink into a buried abyss of history.
Lesson 4, let wherever you stand be holy ground. Let every day be a victory. Just your breath is protest enough.
White to the black hood I came from. Black to the white school I went to.
I wasn't Vietnamese enough to roll with that gang, so I hold my own.
So what if I'm white? I'm black
I'm
too.
Vietnamese too.
We are the isolated mixed breed.
Standing on society's seesaw, and they want to bleach my culture out.
But I've mastered the art of code switching and realized mixed accomplishments are more hidden than white privilege. See, check this out. First black president.
First black president.
Actually, we got a mixed president.
He is mixed though.
But I guess it doesn't matter what we label our pick.
Who the hell is this Vietnamese, European-looking, Puerto Rican?
Honky.
I know you ain't talking. Looking like a cute coconut.
You just a cracker with a yellow tip, man.
Stop acting like a funny guy with some peanut butter, brown, honey eyes, puppy ass.
Man, you're just a white boy.
Let's review. Lesson 1, you will always wear your own broken color. Lesson 2, your past doesn't have to be your future. Lesson 3, you were made the way you are for a reason. Lesson 4, live like your life depends on it. Lesson 5, you will always wear your own skin. Take pride that the sun found a home in you.
Never run. You will learn that the language is a crucifix and the thorn is a raised hand in a classroom full of marble men and women who are heavy.
Undress yourself of this. This wound left on the back of your neck from the stair you dripped into soil. Wash the dust off your chin. Soak your tongue in the holy water of your saliva.
Lesson 6.
I will not be silenced because of color. I am relevant. I am my own master.
Lesson.
Mixed race isn't anything less than its individual components.
It is the sum of its histories, a culture, lesson.
When the skin drifts away from the body and your bones are muddled to dust and your heart is a pile of memory, you'll remember that we are all just dirt. Lesson.
All this skin is an illusion. This life is temporary. Our only job is to set an example like the ones before us. Lesson.
Don't be afraid. Remember where you're from and wear your skin so you do not forget yourself. Lesson.
Remember, we're all just dirt. You can be boundless in the skin that keeps you. Just hold on to the lessons from the ones before us, and the ones before them, and the ones before them, and the ones before.
All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people. They ride around with magic crowns that meet the sounds of heads banging grounds. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people.
My people slicker than the owl, sharp the perm. We a word you deserve, and my name be a serve. You must learn to observe and to bow in the firm when you hear it. Otherwise we will burn like a perm left in too long. Got you scratching at your scalp when you hear them songs. Better grease up your brains cause the words be slick. So you might as well slide along, rock a left boogie woogie going to the third song.
Beat knots, black top taught the rhythm of street rock. As far as whipping, so we learn how to beatbox. Authenticity inscribed under my tongue. Focus, speech, and rhythm. The avenue where I'm from. Owner of myself, writing checks of reality. Pictures and painted with rights, creating a masterpiece. While speaking abstractly in the surrealist terms, writing textbooks. Send them back and let them learn.
No shame, no shame, no shame. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people. They carry stones, break the bones. For what is known is never owned. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people.
Congratulations, here's your letter of acceptance.
No shame.
When your mind is leaderless, then when you're worth you don't have rather fear, yet you stride down the street as if you're still keeping here. They buy the whole land to colonize another, so you sit in the lecture hall just like any other, but you can't learn a culture to revival. So speak the language home as a means of survival.
Like a white mentally, it's all the same bullshit. It's been too many years stepping in front of that bull. Resent never when I bow to my obstacles. Never understood, but I guess it seems logical that people gonna see me however they gon' see me. You can't read the book if you confused how to read it. So forget those with the poor ethnic taste and remove the oppressed color paint from my face.
All the people. No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people.
Stand in line, there is no time to develop your own time. You hey, since your people learn to rhyme. And jumping down behind you, just need one of your kind to say this institution has become colorblind. Here's your check, guess it's all about we gave you this award. So your pictures in the paper, those black boy memorials. Be proud when your people in your hood call you Ariel. Your skin may be tainted, but your mind is forever.
Now I've been waiting for a change to make this place to something sacred. Hard to find justice, it's just us to make it dangerous. So chapel me the corners, open to the force of corporates. My mask is just a portrait, don't forget to call me for it. I was born here, taught the truth and justice indivisible. A shame a man became the words like liberty were literal. Figures that they flip it, now the truth is something mystical. The city knows it's quiet when capitals is principle.
All the same, all the same, all the people, all the people, all the people, all the people.
I could give a flip about your reference and measurements are better than I'm obviously better. Black is my inheritance.
No
Can't in my leather,
no
been the birth of the presence, and I'm giving the reason to be in the season of 17. What's word? The bird was heard. Once he got a full scholarship for this and the third, but it wasn't a fucking skin pat on the back. Just check your coach at the door and leave you black on the rack.
No shame, no shame, no shame, no shame. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people. They ride around with magic crowns. They'll meet the sound of heads banging ground. All the people, all the people, all the people, all the people.
Contacting the Wall is on this week. Please come out and support it. You need to be here. There's some amazing companies from all around the world sharing their work, from dance to spoken word, drama. Please come and support the event. It's happening from now for quite a while. Also, we've got until Saturday night. Also, there's an open mic, so if you sing, if you spit, please join us in Space 5. Thank you very much.
I heard Colby said come on Thursday.
Yes, come on Thursday.
Come every
Boundless. Come every day. Yeah, forget Thursday. Come every single night. Yeah, every single night.
Dodge.